Good morning. Right, good morning everybody. We'll just wait a couple of minutes and just check my position and hopefully okay. Excellent. Good morning. Always a bit nervous when I'm doing this to start with before I get familiar. Good morning. Wave if... Good morning. Hey, good morning. Excellent. It'd be nice to do some interactive and be able to see you guys. I'd like then to be able to correct you, but we are where we are at the moment. So I hope you are feeling good and ready for some Pilates. So it's 8:30. I'll just take a sip of water. And we will get started. So, as ever, listen to your body. If anything doesn't feel right, just modify. Remember all the little tricks that we've been going through. Check in with your body. Use your head to a hand even to support your head and your neck. Tucking your tailbone underneath you to support your lower back, and just do what's right for you today. And enjoy before we go into the weekend. So we're going to start. We'll start by doing some roll downs just to warm the body up. So my head's cut off here for a bit, but we'll predominantly be on the mat. So let's start. So feet in parallel, fist distance apart. I'm going to stand side on so that you can see my profile. So just settle the body down and just come into the moment. And we're going to think about sending the weight slightly forward over the toes, tucking the tailbone underneath, which pulls in the abdominals, standing tall with our collarbone wide, and think about having that sense of length in your neck, almost like you're having a piece of string pulling you up towards the ceiling. Collarbone is wide and sending the shoulder blades down the back of your back into the back pockets of your leggings. Take an inhale into the back of the ribs, and on the exhale allow the chin to just drop towards the chest. Don't compress it down, just drop it towards the chest and start rolling down forward over the toes. You've got that softening in the knees, and we're rolling, scooping the abdominals up and rolling all the way down to the mat, or as far as you feel comfortable on the first roll down. Take a deep breath in at the bottom, and on the exhale start rolling up, transferring the weight into your heels as you restack the spine and open the collarbone wide at the top. Let's go again. Inhale. Exhaling, chin falls towards the chest. Rolling down vertebra by vertebra, allowing each vertebra to have its moment. Weight is forward over the toes, almost like you're going to face plant, but not quite. Taking a deep breath in at the bottom. And exhaling as you pull up through the abdominals, restacking the spine. Weight going over the heels. Tailbone tucking underneath, and collarbone opening wide at the top. One more. We're really getting that spine moving, really waking it up. Whether you've just got out of bed or you've been sat at a desk all morning or running around, just warming it up, ready for the exercises ahead. Inhaling at the bottom and exhaling. Tailbone tucks, spine restacks, and we're opening up. Our shoulders nice and wide at the top. Give them a bit of a circle around, and we're going to come to the front of your mat, and we're just going to sit down onto the floor any way that feels comfortable for you today. And we're going to check in with the positioning of our feet again, so feet fist distance apart, Knees fist distance apart. I want you to concentrate on those ankles being fist distance apart. Try not to let anything flare. And we're going to sit tall, and we're just going to do a few rounding of the lower back, just to wake that lower back up a little bit as well. So inhale, sitting tall, feel that corset. Exhale, round that lower back and come forward over the pelvis. Inhale, sitting tall. Exhale, round the lower back. Really feeling the stretch in the lower back. Your elbows can be wide. Inhale, sitting tall. Exhale, round that lower back. And then we're going to, using our legs as support, we're going to roll the lower back down to the mat. We're going to take our heels with us as we come up. And we're going to find ourselves in that pelvic curl positioning. So from here, we're just going to do a few pelvic tilts as well, just so that we can understand where we are in and where neutral is. So we're just lying here, nice and natural as we are. Inhale, and on the exhale, just tilt your pelvis towards you, pressing your lower back into the mat, so you're kind of at an imprint position. And then exhaling, really overarch your back, your lower back, and flare your ribs. This is a position that we don't really want to be in Pilates. And then inhale, go to that other extreme, pressing the lower back into the mat, and exhaling, tilting it out. And then neutral is somewhere in between that imprinting of the lower back and the overarching of the lower back. So that is your neutral position, where your hip bones and your pubic bone are on the same plane. We're going to go for 3 pelvic curls. Collarbone is wide. Press your upper arms into the mat, and that opens up your collarbones. Feet are pressed into the floor. Press that big toe into the floor. That activates the ankles and the inner thighs. Inhale. On the exhale, tilt your pelvis towards you, pressing your lower back into the mat, and start peeling the spine up and off the floor. When you can't go any further, just by using those abs, allow your bottom and your hamstrings just to take you up that little bit further. Be careful here not to flare the ribs. So if the ribs are popping out, try and sink them down a little bit. Curl that tailbone underneath a little bit more, and inhale, roll the spine through the upper, mid and lower back, and then release the pelvis into the neutral position. Inhale again, 2 more times. Exhaling, tilting the pelvis towards you, pressing the lower back in. We're peeling up. We're going to let our bottom and our hamstrings lift us up a little bit further. Tucking the tailbone underneath, drops the rib cage down. Inhaling at the top there, and then exhaling, rolling all the way down and releasing the pelvis into neutral. 1 more time. This time when we go up, I want you to think about dragging your heels back towards your bottom as well. So we're peeling up, using my bottom, using my hamstrings to get as far as I feel comfortable with today. Pressing my upper arms into the mat, opens up the collarbone. I'm going to think about dragging those heels back towards my bottom. Can feel the hamstrings really kick in there. And then exhaling as you roll all the way down and release into that neutral position. Excellent stuff. Really, really good. Okay, we're going to go on to the spine twist supine. 2 choices here. The first one we will do together for the first rep. So we're going to squeeze those legs together. Arms are wide in a T position, palms are facing up. Thumbs even are rotating to the back of the room, so you've got that outward rotation of the shoulders there as well. Okay, so let's go over to the left. Inhaling as we go over to the left, really squeeze those legs together. Lift the right foot up, so it's coming with the left foot. Everything is stacked nicely there. Press the opposite shoulder into the ground, and exhale, using your obliques to bring you back through center, and then inhaling over to the other side, making sure that shoulder is firmly anchored into the floor. Exhaling, using those obliques to bring you back through center. So you can carry on going with the feet firmly on the ground. It's a brilliant rotation for the lower back. Or we can take one leg up to tabletop, so you've got that 90 degrees at the hip and at the knee. You can hold it in your abdominals, tell your abdominals to keep really, really still here, and you can take that other leg up to tabletop, so the shins are parallel to the floor, and we can go with the same thing, or carry on with the first exercise. Range of motion is going to be smaller. We're inhaling as we go over to the left. The right hip is always going to lift up to take us over, and then exhaling, using your obliques to bring you back through centre and over to the other side, keeping that opposite shoulder firmly on the ground, inhaling over and exhaling back through centre. Your vision is looking directly up to the ceiling. Optional progression here as well, so you can either carry on with the first or the second exercise, or inhaling as we go over. My right hip is lifted. I'm going to extend my top leg. I'm going to flex that foot, and then exhaling as you come back through centre and take it back down to tabletop. Obviously, go with whichever modification or progression is right for you today. The load is obviously more when you extend that leg and flex that foot, and exhaling as you come back through centre. But 3 options there for you to do. And then slowly and with control, take one leg down, take the other leg down, and we're going to take those feet into fist distance apart again. Checking that you're in your neutral position, hip bones, pubic bone on the same plane. To find it, press that lower back into the floor, overextend, and find that middle ground. Take your hands, interlace your fingers, and take them behind the heaviest part of the head. Make sure it's really cupping that bowl of the head. You aren't on your neck, you aren't that little bit higher. Your head is a really heavy weight. And you're lifting your elbows into your peripheral vision. And I want you to think about here is a connection between your armpit and your ribs. So really feel like you're dragging your armpits down towards your waist. And there's a deeper connection there with your abs. So aim to be in neutral. If that's pulling on your lower back, slightly tilt your pelvis so that you close up that lower back, and that will protect your lower back. So we're going to go into chest lift. So inhale, always inhale to prepare, and then exhale, we're going to lift the head, neck and shoulders. We're thinking about that connection between the armpit and the waist. We're sending the ribs down towards the waist. We're inhaling at the top and exhaling as you return back down to the floor. Let's go again 2 more times. Inhaling, lifting head, neck and shoulders, and then exhaling as you return back down to the mat, all the while thinking connection, armpits to waist. Inhaling and exhaling as you return back to the floor. Okay, optional progression here again. You can either carry on doing that exercise really, really deep, really, really concentrated for the abs. Really think about dragging the armpits. Sounds a bit bizarre, down towards the waist. It's like that Lego piece connection when you've got 2 bits of Lego and you want to firmly place them together. Drag those armpits down to the waist. Optional progression for the rotation. Inhaling to prepare, lifting up, and we're going to inhale over to the left, slight rotation. We're going to look to the outside of the knee, and then we're going to exhale through centre. Inhale over to the other side, exhale through centre, and then we're going to come back down. And we're going to do that 2 more times. Or you can carry on with the standard chest lift, just lifting up. You could circle your arms around, lift yourself up 1 more vertebra, keep the height, and come back down. or you can come with me and do the rotations. So we're going to inhale to prepare, dragging my armpits down to my waist. Exhaling to lift up. Inhaling, I'm going to rotate to the left. Exhaling through centre. Inhaling over to the other side. Exhaling through centre. And I'm going to come back down to the floor. We're going to do that one more time. Inhaling to prepare. Exhaling, lifting up. Inhale to rotate. Exhale through centre. Inhale over to the other side. Exhale through centre. Let's do one inhale. Up one more vertebra. And exhale as you return back down to the floor. It never gets any easier, that exercise. There's always more you can find. Love it. Okay, so love it, hate it, it sort of serves a purpose. Okay, so let's stretch our legs out. Let's point those toes and glue those legs together. Take your arms behind you as far as you can go without flaring your ribs. If your ribs are beginning to pop up at this point, just take your arms up a little bit off the floor and feel like you're sinking those the rib cage down. Okay, we're going to go with the roll up prep. So we're going to inhale, and as we inhale, we're going to lift our arms towards the ceiling when we see our fingertips. We're going to start lifting our head, neck and shoulders. This is the same inhale breath. And then exhale, you're going to press the lower back into the ground and lift up one more vertebra. And then inhale, we're going to return back to the mat. Let's do that 3 more times. So we're inhaling. We're lifting our head, neck and shoulders. Arms are coming parallel to the floor. Fingers are together and pointing forward. Exhale. Press the lower back into the mat. Lift up one more vertebra. Try and keep those legs on the ground while we're lifting a bit there. Squeeze the legs together. And then inhale as we return back to the mat. You should really be feeling your abs firing up a little bit. And let's go one more time. Inhaling, lifting the arms up towards the ceiling. Head, neck and shoulders starts to peel up. Arms come parallel to the mat. And then exhale. Press that lower back into the mat and come up one more vertebra. And then inhale as we return back to the mat. Really, really good. Okay, let's do a little bit more to those with those abs. We're going to go into another prep exercise called the 100 prep. So 2 ways to do this exercise as well. Choose the way that's good for you. Let's all go with the first one to start with. So we're going to bend our legs. Legs are bent, feet are in parallel, fist distance apart again. Quite often most of the exercises are. That pelvis is in that neutral position, so do a pelvic tilt to find your neutral position. Hold it in the abdominals there, the lower abs you're thinking, below the belly button. Tell your hips to be still. Okay. It is 1 movement on the way up and 2 on the way down. So we're going to inhale and we're lifting up. Our arms are shooting forward and palms face down. And then exhaling as our arms come up to the ceiling and back down. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling up and over. And then exhaling as we come back down. So that's the modification for that one. So we can carry on doing that. Or we can take one leg up to tabletop. We're holding it, that pelvis in the neutral position, if we can, talking to our hips, which switches on our abs. Take the other leg up to tabletop. Again, we're telling our hip bones to be still, and we are going to do the same thing again. Squeeze the legs together this time. Inhaling as we come up and over. And then exhaling, the arms lift up to the ceiling, and we go behind. Let's do that 3 more times. You could also, if this is coming into your neck a little bit, take one hand behind your head, inhaling as you come over, and then exhaling as you come back to the floor. So choose what's right for you today. Let's do 2 more. Inhaling over and then exhaling as we come back. 1 more. Inhaling over, trying to keep those legs as still as possible. I've overshot. I need to bring my knees back towards me a little bit. And then exhaling and around. Should we just do 1 more? Because it's quite good. Quite like it. And over. And up. And down. And then you can just hug your knees to you. Roll your lower spine into the mat a little bit. A little bit of intensity there for the abs. Hope you like it. So we're going to come up into a sitting position. So come up in a safe way that's safe for you today. You can use a little bit of momentum or just come up into a sitting position. Whichever way is comfortable for you today. Let's just reposition. So we're going to do a couple of rolling like a balls. I know not everybody likes this one, and it is a bit of a commitment to go backwards. Make sure you do have room behind you if you are going to go backwards. And 2 ways. We can sit on our sit bones. Okay, we're going to take our feet just to a hover. And we're going to take our hold on to behind our legs. Okay, if you don't want to do the full rolling like a ball, we're just going to roll off our sit bones and change our mind and come back. So we'll do 2 like that together. So breathing in and then exhaling, just pull the abdominals in, round that lower spine and change your mind and come back up into your hover. So breathing in, rounding, woo, going a little bit farther, and exhaling to come back up. So you can carry on doing that, just rocking off those sit bones, really focusing on not losing your balance, not going if you don't want to, and pulling yourself back up into that tight ball shape. Or if you want to progress on and go to the rolling like a ball, we're going to go back, we're going to breathe in, we're going to go back with a rounded back, otherwise we're not going to come back. Breathe it in, pull the abdominals in, round the back to just your mid-back area, and then back up, trying to keep that as tight a ball shape as we can. Let's go 2 more times. Inhaling back, and exhaling as we come back up. 1 more time. Inhaling and exhale as you come back up. Well done, everybody. So just take your feet together and we're just going to come over and press our legs out, getting a little bit of a stretch for the inner thighs. Press those feet together. Breathe into the back of the ribs. And exhaling out. We're going to come on to 4-point kneeling. I'm going to do the cat stretch, or my version, or my training's version of the cat stretch. So I think a lot of people do the cat stretch and do an over-extended version of it, where we really sink down and come back up like that. What I'd like to try and do with you is try to isolate what's going on in your lower back, and then what goes on in your upper back. So first of all, we're going to find that neutral spine position, where it's a flat back position. So I want you to think about, first of all, the setup. So shoulders over wrists and hips over knees, okay? And your legs are hip distance apart. Really press the floor away. If it's hurting on your wrist, you can go onto your fists, and that just releases it a little bit, okay? So we're going to think about rounding the lower spine to start with. So first of all, we've got our flat back. We're going to think about really holding that tray of tea or champagne or gin and tonics on our back. We don't want to spill anything. And then we're going to exhale, and as we exhale, we're just going to round the lower back. So we're pulling in the abdominals, the lower abdominals, we're tucking the tailbone under, and we're rounding that lower back. and that's on the exhale. And we're going to go through the flat back, very, very slightly. And on the inhale, we're going to extend the upper back. So it's quite a slight movement. And we're going back through that flat back and rounding the lower back, pulling in the abdominals. And if you can see, it's really, really, really quite a small movement. So I rounded my lower back. I'm extending my upper back. I'm pushing the floor away. Then I'm going to come through neutral. And then I'm going to round that lower back, tucking my tailbone underneath. I'm really, really working my abdominals hard here. I'm coming through neutral and extending the upper back. Let's just do 2 more. Exhaling, rounding the lower back, tucking the tailbone underneath. Coming through your neutral position, and then inhaling to extend the upper back. We're just indulging the spine here, rounding on an exhale, coming through neutral, and extending the upper spine. And then we'll come back to neutral, and we'll push back into the rest position, sending your bottom over your heels, stretching your fingertips out. If it's a little bit uncomfortable to come back over that way, you can come up into that high kneeling position and just stretch your fingers out, sticking your bottom out. Not really a right or wrong way of doing this, it's just what feels good for you and the moment. And then we are going to come down onto our front for a bit of back extension. Okay, so 3 modifications to do this. The setup is always the same. Okay, we are first of all going to take our hands. We are going to make a bit of a cushion for our hands, and we're going to put our forehead down onto our hands. I'd like you to think about pressing your pubic bone into the mat, okay, tucking the tailbone underneath, which should lift the abdominals, and this is going to protect your lower back. So when we come into the back extension, the area that we're looking to get movement for is the kind of upper back area. So really good if you've been sitting all day as well. So we're trying to get as much movement as possible in there, because people tend to have a limited amount of range of motion there. Okay, so press the pubic bone in, curl the tailbone under, lift the abdominals up. We're going to inhale. As we inhale, we're going to shoot the breastbone forward, and we're going to get a tiny back bend in the upper back area. And then we're going to exhale and come down so that our head is resting on our arms. Let's go again, 2 more times. Inhaling. Thinking about dragging your shoulder blades down your back as well. Tiny, tiny back bend, and exhale down to a hover. Are you still lifting your abdominals? Let's go 1 more time. Inhaling, lift those abdominals, curl the tailbone underneath, and exhaling as we come back. So we can carry on going with that exercise, or you can take your arms out slightly wider than your mat in a goalpost position or a cactus position, and we're going to do the same. Same setup, pubic bone presses down, tailbone is tucking under, lifting those abdominals, and we're going to go again for another little back bend. Inhaling, breastbone comes forward, tuck the tailbone underneath, lift the abdominals, and breastbone is going forward. We're thinking length. On this one as well, you can think about dragging your elbows back to your waist, exhaling as you come down. 1 more time, or 2 more times. Inhaling, drag those elbows back, keep them on the ground, and exhaling. Are your abdominals still lifted? Is your tailbone still tucked? 1 more time. Inhaling. and exhaling as you come down. Okay, let's stay at that hover. Check in with the setup, pubic bone pressing down, tailbone underneath, abdominals are lifting. You're at a hover. Shoulder blades are being dragged down your back. If we can, and only if you can and feel comfortable, take your arms and press your hands into your thighs. And let's go again for 3 more, making sure you're tucking that tailbone underneath because we want to protect that lower back. Inhaling, breastbone goes forward. Exhaling, down to a hover. Try and keep those legs on the ground. Might want to lift up. Inhaling. And exhaling. Keep those abdominals lifted. One more time. Palms are pressed into the thighs as well. Activating the arms. Inhaling. And exhaling. As you come down, take your hands to your waist. Push yourself over your heels, really breathing in, taking in the recovery position, breathing into the back of the ribs, exhaling out, inhaling in, and exhaling out. So we've just got a time for one more roll up and roll down because it's really essential to book in the session with that, just to check in with your spine. See how it feels. We're in the folded position and we're inhaling into the back of the ribs. Weight is forward over the toes. Exhaling as you lift up. Transfer the weight into the heels. Really find the curve. Opening up the ribs. Oh, shoulders, sorry, at the top. Circle the arms around. Breathe in again. Arms are loose by your side. Allow the chin to fall towards the chest. Start rolling down. Weight is over the toes. Knees are softened. Breathing in at the bottom. And exhaling as you restack the spine. Sending the weight over the toes. Opening up the shoulders. And rounding your shoulders at the top. And just take your arms. And just, I hope that you're done. And I hope you enjoyed it. So, yeah, let me know if you've got any questions or anything. Always happy to answer. And yeah, have a good day. Have a good weekend. Thank you very much. Bye.